button. All right, good morning and welcome. Thank you for stopping by Homeschool Connect Expo. We are right in the beginning of our online curriculum homeschool fair that's going on from March 15th to April 15th. So thank you for being a part of this, and we are doing our live interviews with some of our products and companies that are part of the curriculum fair. We have 68 different curriculum providers out there. So go to Homeschool Connect Expo and check it out. But today, right now, I have Blackbird and Company, a really cool company that's been with us for this entire time that we've been doing Homeschool Connect Expo for 3 years. And I've got Sarah and Kimberly. And let's bring them on so that way we can get to know them and get to know a little bit more about the company. So. All right. Hey, Kimberly, Sarah, how are you doing?
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. Kimberly, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about you?
Okay. Hi there. I'm Kimberly, and I am one of the founders of Blackbird and Company, and I'm one of the authors of our curriculum. We've been at this for about 25 years. I was a homeschool mom with Sarah, and our initial purpose for homeschooling was to really enable our children to delight in learning. I recognized early on that with my first child that she was so precocious and happy learning all kinds of new things about the world, and I decided, I want her to really continue to have this delight for learning. She did go to public school for kindergarten. And I noticed in kindergarten that she had a lot of fun, made a lot of friends, but became a little disinterested in learning to read and to write. She was a really early reader, but school somehow squelched that a little bit. Then she went into first grade. I was teaching at a private school at the time, and she was in a very small class reading ahead of the group, and the teacher really wanted her to just stay with the group because she said that Hannah would embarrass the other children with her precocious reading. And that just started a little tumble down for my daughter. She decided that she had tummy aches and didn't want to go to school. And so the following year, I decided to do something different. And Sarah and I crossed paths, and we started homeschooling together. And through that experience, Blackbird and Company developed. And the goal of Blackbird and Company, we're a language arts curriculum, and we have a different approach. Our goal is to integrate reading and writing to help kids learn how to write from the best writers, from the published authors. So as they're reading, they're learning what it takes to write, and so we integrate reading and writing so that kids are simultaneously, learning to read and learning to write from kindergarten onward. So it's a little bit about my background. Why don't you jump in there, Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah.
Well, good morning. My name is Sarah Evans, and I'm a worker bee at Blackbird and Company also. And like Kim said, we crossed paths and we started this little school, and it was really wonderful. I have 2 kids. They're now 29 and 27. And I homeschooled them most of their lives, and we had this wonderful little co-op where we did that. And we saw children thrive in amazing ways, and all of Kim's kids became amazing musicians, and my daughter became a surgical PA, my son's an entrepreneur, and they just had so much confidence from homeschooling and such an eagerness to continue to learn their whole lives. And it's just, I don't know, it was the greatest thing I ever did. And then out of that experience, we just created this pedagogy that, what Kim was saying, where we really want kids to learn to read and write at the same time and really value their ideas. And that's something I think that we really, really value so much, is that we want children to believe, number one, that they have good ideas. And, when they're reading good books, they're having opinions in their head. And so how do we help them get those opinions out into the world and do it in a way that communicates their ideas clearly? So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. No, I love it. And I love how you talked about the homeschooling. So first, you didn't ruin your kids, right? That was one. Everybody's always worried about, that I know I was worried about. And Kim, I had about the same situation as you, other than mine was math. My son was light years ahead of everybody in math, but they weren't doing their standardized testing in math that year, and so they wanted to hold him back, even though he was so far ahead, and just because the testing. So, but I love how you describe the Blackbird and Company about continually learning and confidence, and that's something I think is missing. I don't want to beat up on the public schools, but really, I mean, they're pulling this stuff out of public schools. They're pulling out literature out of public schools. They're pulling out some of the best writing out of it, and then wonder why some of the kids don't have confidence, why they don't have the love of learning like you talked about. And so that's why I love Blackbird and Company, and what you guys do and how you do it. Now, what grades do you serve for Blackbird?
Yeah, we are kindergarten all the way through high school, and it's a longitudinal approach. And it's much different than any other reading and writing curriculum in that, like Sarah said, it's all about ideas first. Right from kindergarten, we have a very strong integration of phonics for reading and writing. So as the kids are learning phonics, the purpose of phonics is to help kids to decode while they're reading, but really you have to also learn how to encode, how to use that phonics to get your ideas on paper. So as we're introducing them to the phonemes with these wonderful little hands-on objects and cards and a movable alphabet, super multisensory and beautiful and fun for little ones. They're reading and they're writing, because the goal is to not have kids who are just reading at a high level, but also writing at an appropriate level. So from there, it just continually moves forward with the reading and the writing. They're constantly journaling. They're keeping journals about what they're reading, exploring vocabulary, writing sentences, writing paragraphs across different writing domains. And then as they approach middle school, we're introducing, essay writing, so that in high school they can journal about symbols and motifs and great themes with ease, and then construct an essay for every novel that they read. So it's a big longitudinal approach to reading and writing.
Okay. And I love how you have what's it, the hatchling is the youngest ones, and and you go to the early bird.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have that.
We have to keep the motif going. Yeah.
I love that. And then I saw on because one thing with homeschool, we're taking the kids where they're at and everything. You guys actually have instead of just pure grades, like not a little test area, but an area where does your kid kind of fit into the area, which I thought I loved because it's not just grade specific, it's where the kids are at. And so every section, every part, do they get a like a reading list of books? How does that work when someone joins Blackbird and Company?
Do you want to jump in, Sarah? Or do you want me to go?
Go ahead. Sure. No problem.
Oh, okay. Well, you can jump in at any level. Obviously, it's best to start at the beginning and kind of move forward with Blackbird. But what's wonderful about it is if you're jumping in at level 1, that's typically like the third grade level, right? But if you are a 4th grader and you need a little bit of extra help with your writing, level 1 will not offend you because it doesn't look like a 2nd grade program. It doesn't say 2nd grade. The way that we place children is based on their writing ability, because typically children read much more fluidly, much more quickly than they write. And especially, in the homeschool community, but even in the public school and the private sector, we're finding that writing is becoming the subject where children are actually being thwarted, because it is a skill that doesn't just come naturally. You really have to write words and words and words and words to become a writer. It's like you can't ride a bike without getting on the bike and pedaling, right? You can't just sit there and the bike will go unless it's an electric scooter or something, right? So we always say, think about where your child is writing. And each week, what they will do in each section is they will read a section of the book. Every book, once you get to level 1, every novel is divided into 4 sections. And it's always the same scaffolding where they are journaling about characters using really strong descriptors, giving examples from the story. They're going to explore, and I love how Sarah says it. She says they're going to explore some juicy words. And, we're not exhausting vocabulary. We are really wanting them to see that great stories are made up of these really wonderful words, right? So they're going to look up some words in the dictionary using a real paper dictionary. They're going to use those words in a new and original way. And then we're going to help them to practice their sentence writing as they run through the plot every week. So we have chronological questions that help them to really make sure that we're getting them to think intentionally about what's happening in the plot. And then the big part of every week is they're going to write an idea inspired by whatever section they've read. So they're going to write this paragraph, and this is where we really are helping teachers and parents to understand that anyone can teach writing when you take a constructivist approach. So basically, you're going to read the paragraph that your child wrote, and you are going to help them refine their idea. In doing that, excuse me, in doing that, they're learning grammar, they're learning all the mechanics, capitalization, and they are learning how to exercise their voice. So they do this paragraph every week, a rough, a conference, a polish. And this is the place where I personally, over the past 25 years, have just seen students shine. I have a little boy I'm thinking of right now who's part of my little co-op here. And he came to me last year, and just the piece of paper just stifled him. He was terrified of well, I don't know what to write, and it's going to be so bad. And, so this year, he's writing things that just make my heart so happy. And he gets to that paper and he digs in, because he's not afraid of putting down a first draft, and he's not afraid of his ideas. And so, then every week we have a discussion, and the discussion is just, I so wish that people could be a fly on the wall for our discussions. And so you do that 4 times. And then the 5th week is dedicated in every guide to a creative project. And this is really applicational, and the kids get to, when we're in group, they can present these projects. One of the things that we are actually working on right now, I just met with my team, part of my team yesterday. We're going to work on offering support for the homeschool community, where you can actually do a book with us via Zoom. One of the great things that has come from COVID. So we're really hoping to offer 3 books, maybe in May. Keep watching for more details. But I think that one of the things that is great about Blackbird is having a weekly meeting and letting kids actually share their ideas with each other. And sometimes that's a little hard, around the kitchen table. Although, there's some great family discussions that happen around the kitchen table. So, so that kind of gives you an idea of the core of our program. But there are also other products that help this to be a complete language arts curriculum. Happy to talk about that too.
Okay. I love this the language arts, the reading and writing. I think this is one of the things that will not only help homeschoolers here in the next generation stand out from their public school peers and their peers dramatically. If you look on social media and everything else, you can see how dramatic the difference. But I think there is that level of confidence. I think people do get their voice. They learn, inside these books, part history, part the love of words, and it does open up their confidence dramatically. And so, when you're homeschooling, and I love that you both were homeschool moms, and part, so you totally get it, and this is, you can see the love and the thoughts that you've put into Blackbird and Company for all the homeschool parents out there for their kids. So this is a wonderful product that just hits on so many levels. It's not just language arts. I mean, you're talking about being a full rounded person when you go through these steps. So I love that. I've always loved how you guys have done things, and I'm glad I'm finally getting to speak with you one-on-one to talk about the product and let people know that this is a really amazing product that will help your kids and help those discussions and help them maybe find their voice, because talk about different industries that need writing skills. You're not always going to have Grammarly or things that help you out in there, but there's so many different industries that writing can help with. So just thank you for putting this together. This is an amazing product. Now going on to some of the you were talking about some different products coming down the path. I love the Zoom where you have the conversations. That's amazing. And you said that was coming out hopefully later this year.
Yeah, hopefully May.
Okay. And then once the kids keep going up in the levels, do the novels and the books get bigger chapters, and it just continually grows? Do you bring different things in for the different higher levels?
Yeah, the whole purpose of language arts is to be able to read closely. I mean, every subject and every career is going to demand that we be able to read closely and to study. And so reading closely and writing authentically is the goal. Every year we have a product called Operation Lexicon. Sarah, do you want to talk about Operation Lexicon?
Sure. It's vocabulary development, and we take really good authors and then utilize their vocabulary that they used in their books. And so the student works in the workbook for about 3 days, I think, per week. And they'll learn 2 new words a day. They define them, see how the author used it, because we're using the authors like mentors, right? These authors were published. Take E.B. White, for example, because they, are amazing writers and have real command of the English language. And so students will look at those words, and then the real challenge that we put them to is to, once they've learned it and defined it, and seeing how the author uses it, is to use it themselves, craft original sentences where they have to use the word. And that's more difficult than you would realize. But so they're getting just, this wonderful, as they're working through their literature guides every day. Usually kids are working in their language arts every day. This is something that's added on to regular language arts that helps develop their vocabulary. We also have grammar for the little guys too, at different levels. And it's really fun. It's a constructive approach to grammar where kids are constructing little stories, and they have little tins of miniatures that come with the grammar program, and flashcards that have the words, or they have different things on them that help them work through that particular level of grammar, but they're centered around, one is called farm tales, fairy tales, and fun tales. So there are 3 different ones. And so they have a lot of fun constructing sentences. So they're having their 6 really good novels or books that they're reading for the year, and all those accompanying journals that Kim went over, where they're, systematically going through the book and looking at certain elements. Then we have grammar, and we have lexicon, which is the, vocabulary development. And then we also have an essay unit that really helps students get prepared for writing their essays when they get to middle school and high school. And that's a year-long program. It can be broken up. It's kind of by semester. and they learn the form and function of the essay. And we also have a wonderful poetry unit. Kim is a poet, and she wrote a really great poetry unit that really helps inform students' writing as well, and kids really like that. So we have a lot of different elements to try to get at writing. We also have a research writing program too that kids can add on, where they learn about famous people, and they learn to write a little biographical essay. So they'll write a 3 or 4 paragraph biographical essay on different famous people like Neil Armstrong or Rosa Parks. We have a really big list of people. So another really great research that we have is called Elemental Journal, and it's a dive into the periodic table of the elements. We're not a science curriculum, but we use the elemental the table of elements to teach research writing. So they read several really good books, and they have a journal that they also fill out. So they're learning about the elements, and when they get to chemistry, they have a really nice little foundation for that. And they've learned how to look into books and, look at information and pull it out and then put it in their journal. And we have one on the 5 kingdoms also. And we're continually expanding our line, constantly adding new books. We're very picky about our literature. We try to really have all our literature be age appropriate for each age group. And we focus on, books that have good themes and that are interesting to read and across different genres, because we obviously want kids to learn to, write across the different domains of writing and then read widely. We don't just focus strictly on classical literature, because we feel like there is a lot of very good contemporary literature. And if you skip that, then there's going to be, an unfortunate hole. But we do have classical literature as well, but it's a really nice mixture. And there's a lot to choose from at each level. We have a large selection at each level. So we have pre-packaged year packs that make it easy for parents, where we've chosen the 6 books, and they can just order that, or they can go through the list and choose whatever their student is interested in. So it's very adaptable.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, when students get into the high school level, we have like 9th grade. We encourage a 9th grade survey of books, and then then we have American Lit, British Lit, World Lit. How I always taught my own kids, and how I teach at the co-op where I work with homeschool families, we do all the different categories for the 4 years of high school, and then you have had American Lit, British Lit, World Lit, and a really solid survey. But we are working it so that parents can actually choose their books, because by the time kids get to high school, hopefully they have read widely, and we want to have enough selection for them to discover something new. We want our lists from, kindergarten forward. We want them always to be able to discover something new. But with the products that Sarah was discussing, we have grade level collections also, which make it easy. So in a grade level collection, there will be a year's worth of the literature. So there will be 6 titles for the literature, starting at level 1. Hatchling and Early Bird are different, our primary years. But there will be all of the literature and the literature discovery guides. There will be some form of grammar and Operation Lexicon, and some sort of, additional writing. So it will have everything you need for a complete year of language arts. And you can kind of find that online. So like Sarah said, you can either decide to buy a la carte, or you can just, utilize our grade level collections.
All right. And that's a good thing for parents. I'm reaching out to the parents now. And depending on which area that you want to focus on, if you're trying to get your kids into college, this is an amazing program for the essay, for the language arts, to get them ready for college. So if you're on that path, this is a beautiful and wonderful language arts program to help them get ready for that college essay and everything you have to do, especially if it's in the next couple of years, because you got the SAT scores that aren't really going on right now, and don't know when you're going back, so it's going to be heavily on the essay. so if you got one, those would be perfect time to jump into Blackbird and Company and get moving. But for the ones who are looking for the well-rounded reading and everything else, and writing, reading, I love how you put it all together. And that's what I love about this program is you have all of it, and then that research writing. If you're looking into going into science, or have your kids on that level, what a good way to get them, because usually sometimes in the science, they might not like the language arts, they might like the math and science part, but to get that research writing, that's so critical. So I love that how you've really thought through all of this, putting this stuff together, and so I just get excited, when the see, because this really truly is something to have your kids, the homeschool kids, one, stand out from their peers, and to grow as humans and citizens of the world, and you might not think that, if I went to public schools and it wasn't really language arts that they really pushed. It was math and science for me. And that's why I went to engineering school for some reason. But I was an engineer, but that's what I got pushed into. But so the language arts was kind of back, but this could be life changing. I don't know if you ever seen the movie The Freedom Riders.
Yeah.
I just watched it. I just watched it. I didn't even know it when it came out. It was like 2007, but it was so powerful to see these students and the teacher get them into reading and writing, and it's based on a totally true story out in, I think, LA. And how life changing this stuff was. So parents, go check out the exhibitor booth of Blackbird and Company. There's some videos and talking about all the different levels and more information than we have time to talk about today. But then, there's links out to the website, and like I said, they have this really, where does my kid fall into the level, and so take advantage of that and jump in and grab this. These programs, get your kids started, and get them cemented into this program that will expand their mind. And anybody thinking about homeschooling, this is why people homeschool. To get your kids really focused on being bigger and better and seeing the world differently. Because this is more than just writing and reading. This is getting their voice. This is learning the love of learning. And you could see it on YouTube. How you have that and how you built this into this program. So thank you again for building such an amazing program.
Thank you.
Now. is there anything else that we might not have touched on that that you want to talk about Blackbird and Company or about one of the programs?
I think one of the things that's coming to me as you're talking, I have worked with a lot of students over the years, and I really think that Blackbird and Company added to, any strong math science program turns what you're doing into a humanities program. I really believe in humanities for kindergarten through high school should be really strong, balanced humanities. We don't do what we do at the exclusion of math and science. We want to be integrated with math and science. Math and science is really important, but math and science at the exclusion of language arts is missing something. We are human beings, and at our core, we have ideas. All of the innovations that have happened in the world are only able to be realized through language arts. We have to talk about it. We have to write about our ideas. We have to publish our ideas. So we have to be balanced. And I think that it takes all 13 years of learning to really become someone who is willing to do the work of utilizing voice and ideas. I think, Sarah's daughter went into the medical field. One of my sons is going into like journalism and business. Two of them are in the music industry, but Sarah's son is an entrepreneur. All of these things begin with ideas. Mm-hmm. When my daughter went to Loyola Marymount University, she got in without an SAT, got a really giant scholarship because of her writing. And she got in very late in the year into the honors program. And one of my favorite stories is that after the first semester, she took the entry-level writing course at Loyola. And at the end of that course, they asked her to be the paid TA for the honors writing course. And she came home one day and said, "Oh, I just met with the kids who have to write a paper based on this prompt that the professor, assigned today." And she said that all of them were in a panic because they wanted to know what the professor wanted them to say. And she was puzzled by that. And she said, "Wait a minute, what does the professor want me to say?" She said, "No, what's your idea? What is your idea? You're a scientist. You could take this prompt through the world of science. You happen to be studying film. Take it through film." And they were so concerned with the grade that they didn't value their idea. And Hannah was so concerned with the idea, that she got the job, right? And so that is why we do what we do. We want kids to take all of their ideas with them into the world, and we want them to utilize them in whatever field they're going to go into. You have to read and write. That's, you read and write to value your ideas.
Yes, and you hit, the two entrepreneurs, that was one thing I was going to say was on the entrepreneurship, that's the path. That's definitely something, that reading and writing. And when you look at some of the big executives or the business owners, what they do is they read a lot, and that's what gets those ideas churning in the brain. So I love that you touched on the entrepreneur side too, because it really touches every single part and every single path. So
Yeah, totally. You can be creative in whatever path. My youngest son he just graduated from high school about a year and a half ago. And most of my kids, I think Sarah's too, all of our kids have have gone junior college except for my daughter went straight to university. But the thing that my youngest son is doing really fascinates me. I have an MFA in writing, and he's basically doing his own MFA. He's written, during COVID, he wrote a feature-length script and a short script. He figured out how to submit them to competitions. So he's got 4 scripts in the submission process, just
Wow.
on his own. And that's what we want. And I've seen this not only, I mean, especially obviously as someone who's a homeschool mom, I want to see what my kids do.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also been someone who's worked with hundreds of kids over the years. And I've had kids, win National Scholastic Arts and Writing Awards for their writing. I've had kids go on to get MFAs. I have kids who've gone on to be lawyers, and always they come back and they say, "Oh, it's the writing. Thank you for helping me to not just write a formulaic essay or a formulaic paragraph. Thank you for helping me to write authentically." And I'm just really, Sarah and I love what we do. We're very passionate about what we do, and I'm sure you can tell.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell. Definitely tell. Well, I appreciate the time that you've given us. And I think we could go on and on and on and talking about about this and the Blackbird and everything. But I do appreciate, one, the time, and two, just the love and passion that you've put into Blackbird and Company. And thank you for being a part of Homeschool Connect Expo for so many years, and then the Curriculum Fair. And everybody that's watching this, go out to the exhibitor booth, Blackbird and Company, check them out, go through the videos, link out to their website, and really it's a nice website. It's really easy to navigate, and it's easy to buy, start buying into their product. Definitely look into this. Whether your kid is needing a language arts, or if they're struggling one bit, or if they're on a different path, really anytime, just get them into this program, and you'll just see them shine through this, about reading and learning and writing and everything that this is encompassing. And so whatever they do later on down the road, they will have this awesome foundation, because you're not going to find this in public schools. Exact opposite, and when your kid hits, whether it be the college route or into the real world and a job route, they will shine dramatically, and rise. And I've got three students that have just graduated, my 3 kids, and they are jumping in the world, and they're just rising to the top in their industries, just because, one, they're different, and 2, they have this well-rounded aspect, and they're so young, and people don't know what to do with them, and they just keep on rising up, inside of their industries, and they're sitting there at 19 and 20 and 21, and they own their own houses, and they just keep on rising, and it's just because they're different. They see it. They're so well rounded, and that's what homeschooling does, and that's what Blackbird and Company will do for your kids. No matter what path they're going into. So jump on that. So important. I wish I had that as a kid. I really wish I had this as a kid, and something like this for my kids. I didn't even know, and so that's. and that's why we do Homeschool Connect Expo, to try to get information out to everybody, to let them know about these wonderful programs, that they can jump on. Kim and Sarah, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for having us.
My lights are blinking. We're getting some storms here, so I better jump off of here a little bit. But thank you again, and maybe we'll do this again. I think this is a really, really important. For parents to really get. So we'll try to do this again, and we'll touch on a subject and maybe dive deeper, and get some parents involved. So
we'd love that.
All right. Thank you again so much. And everybody jump on the Blackbird and Company on the exhibitor page, and we'll be back later. All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.